Did you know that Psalm 23 is one of the most quoted passages in the Bible, often cited for its comforting message about abundance and peace? This psalm has been a source of comfort and guidance for millions of people throughout history, and its themes of God's provision, protection, and presence continue to resonate with us today. In this video, we're going to explore the deeper meaning behind Psalm 23 and how its timeless wisdom can lead us to a life of abundance and fulfillment. So let's dive in and see what this ancient text has to teach us. Psalm 23 is attributed to King David, who wrote it during a particularly tumultuous period in his life. Despite facing numerous challenges, David's trust in God's goodness and provision remained unwavering, and this psalm is a beautiful expression of that trust. The psalm is divided into 6 verses, each one revealing a different aspect of God's character and our relationship with Him. As we explore these verses, we'll see how they speak to our deepest longings for abundance, peace, and fulfillment. For centuries, Psalm 23 has been a source of comfort for people facing difficult circumstances. It's been read at funerals, during times of war, and in moments of personal crisis. But beyond its comforting message, Psalm 23 also holds a powerful secret to living an abundant life. It's a secret that can help us overcome our fears, anxieties, and doubts, and instead, experience a sense of peace, trust, and fulfillment that we never thought possible. Many of us struggle with feeling fulfilled and abundant in our lives today. We work hard, we strive to achieve our goals, but somehow, we still feel empty and unfulfilled. We're constantly searching for more, trying to fill the void inside us with material possessions, relationships, or external validation. But no matter how hard we try, we can't seem to shake off the feeling that something is missing. We're not alone in this struggle. Millions of people around the world are facing the same challenges, wondering how to break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and find true fulfillment. Despite our best efforts, we often find ourselves stuck in a pattern of negativity, fear, and scarcity. We worry about our finances, our relationships, our health, and our future. We feel like we're never enough, that we're not doing enough, that we're not good enough. This constant barrage of negative thoughts and emotions can be overwhelming, leaving us feeling drained, anxious, and unfulfilled. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life and forget what truly matters. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us that we need more, that we're not enough, that we're not doing enough. Social media, advertising, and even our own inner critic can create a sense of inadequacy, making us feel like we're failing in some way. But what if I told you that there's a different way? What if I told you that you have the power to break free from this cycle of dissatisfaction and find true fulfillment? Psalm 23 holds the key to unlocking this secret. It's a secret that's been hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to discover it. The struggle to feel fulfilled and abundant is real, and it's a struggle that affects millions of people around the world. It's a struggle that can leave us feeling lost, alone, and uncertain about our future. But Psalm 23 offers us a way out of this struggle, a way to find peace, trust, and fulfillment in the midst of chaos. So, how do we apply the principles of Psalm 23 to our lives today? How do we break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and find true abundance? Let's dive deeper into the verses of Psalm 23 and see how they can guide us on this journey. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. These 6 words are a powerful declaration of trust and surrender. David is saying that God is his shepherd, his provider, his guide. He's acknowledging that God is in control and that He will provide everything he needs. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. These words evoke an image of peace, tranquility, and abundance. David is saying that God leads him to places of rest and refreshment, where he can recharge and refocus. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. David is acknowledging that God is the one who refreshes his soul, who guides him on the right path, and who does it all for His sake, not ours. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for You are with me. Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me. These words are a powerful declaration of trust in the midst of uncertainty. David is saying that even in the darkest of times he will not fear, because God is with him. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. These words evoke an image of abundance and feasting. David is saying that God prepares a table before him, even in the presence of his enemies, and that his cup overflows with abundance. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. These words are a powerful declaration of trust and confidence in God's goodness and love. As we break down the verses of Psalm 23, we can see how each line relates to the concepts of abundance, peace, and trust. We can see how David's trust in God's goodness and provision led him to a life of fulfillment and abundance. I'd like to share a personal story that illustrates how applying the principles from Psalm 23 led to transformative abundance in my life. Several years ago, I found myself stuck in a cycle of fear and scarcity. I was constantly worried about my finances, my relationships, and my future. But as I began to apply the principles of Psalm 23 to my life, I started to experience a sense of peace and trust that I had never felt before. I began to trust that God was my shepherd, my provider, and my guide. I began to trust that He would provide everything I needed and that I would lack nothing. I started to see abundance everywhere I looked, and my cup began to overflow with joy, peace, and gratitude. As I look back on that experience, I realized that Psalm 23 was the catalyst for transformation in my life. It helped me to break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and find true fulfillment. It helped me to see that abundance is not just about material possessions or external validation, but about living a life of trust, peace, and purpose. As we've explored the verses of Psalm 23, we've seen how they speak to our deepest longings for abundance, peace, and fulfillment. We've seen how David's trust in God's goodness and provision led him to a life of fulfillment and abundance. And we've seen how applying these principles to our lives today can lead to transformative abundance. So, what's the takeaway from this video? What's the secret to living an abundant life? It's simple. Trust God, trust His provision, and trust that He will provide everything you need. It's about surrendering our fears, anxieties, and doubts to Him, and trusting that He will guide us on the right path. As we close this video, I want to leave you with a few questions to ponder. How can you apply the principles of Psalm 23 to your life today? How can you trust God more fully and surrender your fears and doubts to Him? Take a moment to reflect on these questions and see how God might be speaking to you through them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts on Psalm 23 in the comments below.